Hi, it's Yuki. It's not my real name, just an alias. It's my first video, and I'll be talking about a classmate who called me a H. I'm using an AI voice as English isn't my first language, and I just wanted to share my experience. So, to get the point across more clearly, I'm using an artificial voice. But before I talk about it, let me give you some context. Recently, I watched an anime series called Takopi, and it reminded me of my childhood. And no, I'm not relating any of the characters or situations happening there with mine. It's just the kids, they strangely felt real. Of course, my life has been a happy one so long, with ups and downs, so I haven't had it worse. Takopi is greatly recommended. Do watch it if you like. Anyway, let's get to the point. For privacy, I'll just call the girl Bianca. So, Bianca and I've been classmates since kindergarten. We didn't really talk much. As far as I remember, we were just classmates and neither she nor I ever interacted until... So, in grade 2, I became the monitor of the class. Why, you ask? Because I was the quiet, non-problematic kid, the teachers didn't have much trouble with me. Neither did most kids. So I was made the monitor. I think that was what rubbed her most. I don't know whether she wanted to replace my position or it's just something else or if I'm overthinking. She just didn't like me. Whenever I asked of her to do something like follow some rules, write the notes from the board, she just would roll her eyes at me and make fun of me behind my back. It wasn't that defiant kind of stare too, because I know what defiance looks like since I've been a monitor for years. Not following rules is one thing, but when one laughs at you and gossips behind your back without a reason, what'd you do? For the context, no one else in the class ever showed any form of dislike towards me. So I was a bit confused. She was just a kid at that time, so I won't blame her as it'd be overreacted if I did. Anyway, after a year in the 3rd grade, a massive change happened. Can you guess? Drum roll, please. We'd a new queen bee. Before her, there was no one fairly popular in our class. Hell, even the whole school. She was cute, tall, rich, and charismatic, all a potion for popularity. So naturally, all the girls folked around her. But Bianca in particular was way too invested in her. She started hanging out with the new girl, let's call her Amy. So Amy's father was a businessman, so she was fairly well raised. Bianca, however, she was just your average girl. She started copying her. At that age, you can't blame her. Kids copy who they like all the time. I didn't have any problem as there were no change in my life. Now, Bianca starts hanging out with Amy the entire time. Bianca also started buying cosmetics. At that time, a brand named Baby Lips was really in trend. I honestly didn't know anything about cosmetics until they started talking about sunblock and lip balms. Soon, Amy had every girl of the class following her, even the quiet girl who rarely talked. So I'd give it to her. Not many are that charismatic. I don't understand when and how it happened, but whenever I was with them, they'd just seem so distant. They'd made up a language. Well, as smart a 10-year-old can be, they'd talk in that language whenever with me to remain secretive. All the girls, except me. It hurt, and I really tried to mingle in. I'd talk to them, but they'd just shrug me off. I've been a fairly quiet kid in my life, but at that phase in my life, I was trying to make friends because my teachers had encouraged me so. I'm grateful for the teachers. Even if the girls didn't become my friends, I'd made other friends. Meanwhile, the girls continued. Whatever I did wasn't enough. They'd just gossip about me. I knew because I'd heard what they said.
their mockful giggles. I remember one incident when Bianca was having a fight with another girl because of some stupid reason. The girl had lost her pencil case, and she had her suspicions on Bianca. So they were fighting before our extra classes were about to start. So naturally, as a monitor, I went to them. The other girl quite literally ran away, not looking at me. But Bianca, she told me to shut up. And I can still remember the look in her eye when she said that. At that time, I thought I was just doing my job. But I won't lie, it hurt. But then I forgot it after a few days. So that was the buildup. I'm sorry if it was long, but it was necessary. Now I'll tell you when she called me that. We were in 5th grade. If I remember correctly, it was morning. I was just as usual writing my unfinished homework at my desk. She comes to school with her friends and sits on her bench, and after a few minutes, just before the bell rang, she called me H. For no reason at all. And I remember really well. I didn't do anything for her to say that. I hadn't called her anything bad or even tried to pick a fight with her. And I was so perplexed and hurt. I had to control my tears. But I broke down during the 2nd period. The teacher consoled me. However, he didn't reprimand that girl. Well, I'm grateful he did console me, but I was unsatisfied, as she wasn't even given some words after what she said to me. Then I changed schools. We never met. She soon married at a young age, and from what I hear, she seems happy. So what do I think about all these? I don't hold a grudge against her. I've moved past it. If I were to meet her now, I wouldn't be fazed, but I wouldn't talk to her either. I hope she's grown up well and lives a good life. That's all I can say. I know my story is menial, and I don't know if I have the right to say it, but eventually, these kind of people won't even be in your memories. You'll forget it and move on. So don't beat yourself up to it. Be kind to yourself. You'd wish you were. Then, that's the end. If you liked my story, please like and subscribe. See you soon.